relatable. I forgot to record. Um, so I think I'm recording now. I have no idea. So like I'm glad you bring that
You
up.
are recording, Jules.
Wait. Um, Thanks, Jen. So I'm gonna bring this up for two reasons. So Tammy, I love what you said about this, and I'm going to relate back to you, Shannon, because this is something that you brought up. And a lot of people will bring up when they first get started or they're talking to me in a discovery call. And let me just kind of relate the bridge here. So like sometimes the biggest question becomes, and some of you may still feel this way sometimes, but we always go back to it, is like there's this framework that we live in. When we come to this program, like there's this framework of how we release stress. There's this framework on what we can and cannot do. And Shannon, to bridge the gap, like what you just heard come right out of Tammy's mouth is what we strive for. So, like, you said, and I'm not picking on you, but I want to kind of make this relate because I guarantee you, like in the comments, all the hands will go up and say this was me too in the beginning. So to know that you're not different is
Mhm.
when you first start, that framework tells you, like, so for example, guys, Shannon's framework was, I don't want to be the person on vacation that has to go to the gym. But do you see the framework? So how this is like what I talked about, that gap. So right now it feels super hard for you to think like that would ever be me. But that's the shift or the bridge that we look to get you to the framework that Tammy just openly just talked about. Like, that's what I do. I can't fathom not doing it because that's her coping mechanism. That's her where currently she could probably tell you she had different coping mechanisms in the past, but it's a shift or a bridge that happens as you start to change, and you're just changing the framework around you. And it's going to be an ongoing process because everybody in this call has framework that they still need to continue to shift and change to create the habits and values to get to where they want to be. Make sense?
Makes
So
sense.
it's
Yep.
not impossible. It will come. It takes time and repetitions like it does just to build a muscle, but eventually you start to change the framework around your mind.
Okay.
Uh, and it becomes easier. And like Jennifer McCombs will say is, you're not neurotic about what you eat. You're just conscious of it. You make conscious
Mhm.
habits. Jennifer went on vacation for an entire summer and really just followed her macros. And the summer before, she would have made some pretty shitty decisions, but she was that girl. She wasn't perfect about it, but she was that girl that got her workouts in. She was that girl that on her vacation, she was looking for healthier choices. She was that girl that stuck with certain things that she needed. And she maintained through the entire summer. Now, she's to a place where she wants to step on the gas and make some changes again. So, like, guys, there's ebbs and flows. Like, I'm not just talking to Shannon's, but there's ebbs and flows in this program too. You can get the results that you want and you can cruise for a while and then spike up again and cruise for a
Mhm.
while and spike up again. It's really your choice. Like, none of us as coaches have a problem once you hit a sweet spot and you start to maintaining um, is sticking within 1 to 2 pounds, and then there's the growth phase. Some of you in here are pushing the envelope and trying to grow. And that, when you get to that, your weight starts to go, you maintain and it starts to crawl a little bit even as you go through a growth phase. But that's just the weight of the muscle growing.
Okay.
Ideally, I just
True.
want, so like it's that, so as you're in this group, Shannon, and I'm speaking to everybody in here, like everybody's at different levels and different phases, and you can come in and out of those levels. The biggest and most important one is that transition and building the foundation to get you to the results that you want. And then
Okay.
after that, it becomes, you start to design things the way that you want. But the most important thing, and that's what you hear, is creating those habits and values. And one of those habits and values, as you can see, this call has got people that are getting ready for work. You get on this call because it's a supportive call. You can get on the evening one as well, but it's a way to, lean into other people in the tribe, hear what they're going through. Sometimes I talk about something specific, sometimes I don't.
Okay. I like it.
Awesome. Everybody's getting ready. So, Sandy, share a win. Oh, Carrie's on here too.
Did you just call me?
Yes, and then I just
Sorry.
named Carrie in the bottom.
Dogs barking, workers here. Fair win. Gosh, what is my win? Staying on track. So Shannon, welcome,
Thank
by
you.
the way. And I've been with this tribe for 2 years and it's been absolutely amazing. And Jules and I were talking earlier about the whole framework thing. And like one of the things that, I've been involved in fitness pretty much my whole life. I've competed a couple times. However, I was on a roller coaster and I kept going up and down about 45 to 50 pounds. And I just kept doing it. And I realized, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting older. It's getting harder and I can't do this anymore, but I need help. I thought I knew what to do, but it wasn't working. So it's like you're in a life, you came aboard probably with, some similar reasons, right? And so right now, before you were in a lifestyle. So now it's changing and shifting to a new lifestyle, but it doesn't mean that you have to give things up. I mean, what you were doing before wasn't necessarily working for you when you weren't feeling great, right? So now it'll be hard. It is hard. We all fall off. We all do things, but once you build that framework and that foundation, then it just becomes one of those things you don't even think about it. Like on vacation, you don't even think about it. Like you can't imagine not working out when you're on vacation because it becomes so instilled, even how you feel. Maybe your workouts won't look like the one she's given you, but I'll bet you'll be out there walking. You'll be doing stuff. Like you'll be amazed on what you're going to learn that is so much easier than you probably even are realized. So you have a whole tribe here. We all support each other all the time. Jules calls me the cheerleader of the group. And so I'm always here to support you and cheerlead you on. So yeah, you got this. And so, yeah, my win is just to continue, and I'm going on vacation tomorrow. And I'm going to pack my food and have my stuff, but I am going to but I also have a photo shoot coming up that I won. So I need to be mindful on that. I got a couple of weeks when I get back, but I'm not going to go completely off the rails, but I am going to enjoy my time on my vacation and allow a few things. But like she said before, you can enjoy stuff, but you're going to get to the point where you're not really going to want that much of it. Like I might have a glass of wine, but if I finish the whole glass, or I might enjoy a nice dinner, but I choose sensibly because honestly, you eat it and you're just like, oh, I just want to taste it. I just wanted to enjoy it, but I'm good, So anyway, welcome.
Thank you.
Good share. I love it. I love it. And it's true. It's like a lot about shifting the framework, and as Sandy said, it's an ongoing process for everybody. Everybody. But once it becomes a habit, it becomes a lot easier. So this was fun. Who else wants to share? Carrie. How are you? Carrie's in a growth phase now. I just looked at your before and after some before pictures or some your recent check-in pictures when I was doing your check-in. Jesus Christ. You've got some guns on you.
Thank you.
So actually, I'll let Carrie share because I just thought about that. That's not really what I wanted to say. Carrie is probably, I don't think I deny, she's one of the busiest people here. She's got 10 kids and a full-time job. And she literally, I'll never forget, she said this to me one time. We were having a one-on-one and I'll let her talk more about it. She's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Right?
Yes, I did say that. I can relate to what Shannon was saying about being completely overwhelmed. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Um, I felt in the beginning I was totally overwhelmed too, especially with like just all the information, even though it's given to you in pieces, it's still just a lot to absorb. And you are making like such drastic changes that it was super, super overwhelming. But I can attest to what everyone else that's been around for a little bit is saying, and that it does become like, it becomes very second nature. And you kind of like, you kind of, I mean, I don't know if everyone does this, I'm assuming they do, but you kind of make it your own. So, like everybody does things differently. Some people will meal prep for the whole week, and I do mine in batches, like every 3 to 4 days. So everybody kind of has their own style. So as you go through it, you kind of can make it your own. And I also agree that I feel so much better, even if I like work out on vacation, which I never thought I'd be that person either. So yeah, a lot of the stuff that they're saying I can really relate to, but I was super, super overwhelmed, and now I just feel like, oh, this is easy. Like it's definitely become second nature.
I love that. Yep. And the results are there. And the other thing too is a lot of these women in here, and I'll say this about Carrie too, like Carrie, you were really good about building a foundation too. And I think that was very key. Like you were very diligent about, building a foundation. I don't ever recall you really trying to, take the rebar out and use straw. You were pretty much, and that's super helpful as well because it helps to build that muscle. And most of the women in here that that are in this morning's group have been very good about that. And we talked about that a little bit too, Shannon, is, the more consistent you are, like Carrie talks about making it her own, but you build that foundation first, you create those habits, and then yes, you find the time, like when is your best time to work out? That just because somebody else here works out in the morning doesn't mean you do. Just because, Megan's running on the treadmill, well, we're here, like that doesn't mean that that's what, you do. Like you might find it like in some, like Carrie likes to bulk, prep in batches. Some people like to bulk prep. You're going to find what works right for you. But the biggest thing is that you lay those bricks and you do that foundational work. That's what's going to get you the biggest success, the biggest bang for your buck, the fastest, and create those habits because they stick with you forever. You'll have little here and there, but it's easy as Tammy was talking about earlier, you have those little bit, it's easier to like maneuver through them with that toolbox that you have of tools. So you've really heard from everybody in here, like different scenarios of, being able to lean into those toolboxes. I know you've talked to Jen already. We're staring at her. Janet, you have any value to add to this conversation, being we're feeding Shannon up? We'll keep the focus on Shannon learning from you guys.
Oh my gosh. When? I don't know. It's a great group.
It's
a great group. So we're glad to have
well,
you.
let's talk about some of the habits that you've shifted. I mean, what looks differently for you now than ever has before? Because how much weight have you lost?
24 pounds.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
What do your mornings look like that are different now than they used to be?
Usually I work out in the morning. I try to get it done before school because I'm too tired after school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just get up, I walk first thing, and then just try to get everything done in the mornings. And I think what Sandy said and what the other girls said is true. Just like it's just such a good encouraging group because everybody needs that sometimes, and it's good to see how everybody's doing things differently and getting little tips and tricks and Haley's recipes, and it's just been really great to help me like prioritize.
It's learning new values and habits. But
For
like,
sure.
yeah, exactly. So I mean,
Old
like,
dogs learn new tricks.
there you go. Old dogs learning new tricks. Because last year at this time, I don't think you were walking in the morning, were you?
Oh no, I wasn't doing anything. I was only working.
Yeah. And how
But
has your life changed since that then? So like that would help. That's kind of the direction I'm getting you to go here. Like how do you feel versus how you used to feel?
oh, so much better.
Yeah.
Life's so much better
Yeah.
when you find more besides work. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Jennifer McCombs, who's stirring her yogurt. What you got to share with Shannon? What's your words of wisdom? I'm on a roll.
Hey, sorry, I was eating earlier. Not much of a chatter when I'm eating. Um, so I've been in what, like almost a year and a half, year and 3 months, 4 months. Um, when I first started, I'm a teacher. So when I had a stressful day, I would come home and have some wine, and that was my coping mechanism. Depending on the year, depended on how much I drank, then the month or the week or whatever. But yeah, a lot has changed. Yes, I maintain through the summer, and I do have people once in a while who are like, "How do you do what you're doing, and why do you do what you're doing?" And I'm the type that's like, well, um, I just do my own thing. I've always kind of just been do my own thing kind of person. So I just tell them, this is what I do and this is how I do it. And Jules and Jen are awesome. And it's I think that it's really a mindset. And I'm constantly saying, I need to change my mindset on this and I need to change my mindset on that. And it's really, it's just me self-reflecting, and you do a lot of that is self-reflecting, and thinking about like what you really want and understanding that you have to make a change to get to that point. You can't say what you want and then not make any effort to get there. And I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from everything is that you're always going to be working at it. Your lifestyle, that becomes part of your lifestyle, is you understand that you have a goal and you want to meet that goal and you have to work towards it. Nobody gives it to you. You can throw money at it. You can take supplements. You can get surgeries. You can take pills, and if you're not willing to make the changes and build the foundation, it all comes undone every time. And it's all very temporary. So um my biggest takeaway is that my lifestyle has changed completely for myself, like how I treat myself and what I do for myself. So
Very true. I love it. It's awesome. And I love what you said. Like it is constantly adjusting and readjusting our framework because, that's kind of the conversation that we talk about more. Like I lean more into, there's different ways that I say it, but you come from this energy over here and this framework over here of all of these things. And like what you've heard from everybody or what everybody talks about here is that's the biggest piece is you have to you have to start to make those shifts in order to change your framework. And as you can see, it's completely possible. It just doesn't happen overnight. It's just doing the things over and over again. And I love what Jennifer just said because it's not perfect. There's going to be times where you're going to have to ask yourself that bigger question, like, why am I doing? Like, why do it? Because it is a new lifestyle. And I think that's important for you guys to all like think about. Like, everybody in here is over 40. Nobody in here is, well, except for Megan, who's knocking on that door. So you're just over 40, Megan. You're part of just deal with it. We're getting you ahead of the grade, okay? You're
I wish I had done that.
she's ahead of the grade here.
Well,
But
hey, my mindset's there. I'm kidding.
Mhm. But you're just laying like things aren't ever going to look like they did when you were 20 because we all look different now. So it's about just submitting to the fact that this is the framework that I'm going to operate under. And when people say, which people will say, like we talk about letting go, like, well, why do you do that? Honestly, I think Jennifer's mindset is the best. And Tammy's had this conversation on the call before too. People will ask her, like, the circle that you're in is one, you have to identify, like, is this circle of people really who I need to be with? Are they really the supportive people that are going to be around me? We had a big conversation, which you can, like, around this, I think a week or two ago, Megan was talking about this. Sometimes, like, you just have to let things go. And sometimes it's people. But one is making sure you're surrounded with the right people that want to support you. And two, like, sometimes it's just like, you're going to find out real quick. It's like Jennifer said, like, really, I take the space of, why wouldn't I do this? Like, here's the facts. Where in the world did we normalize eating shit? Like, when people say to you, think about this, guys, when people say, are you ever going to eat normal again? Sandy and I have had this conversation. I'm sure you've all heard this. When are you going to eat normal again? I literally look at people and go, I eat normal. When are you going to eat normal? When did we normalize eating fucking macaroni and cheese, Whoppers, McDonald's, going to bags of chips? Like, I look at people, when are you gonna, as they're shoving something in their face, like chips, when are you ever gonna eat normal again and be off it? Who's eating normal here and who's not? That's the reality of it. And I think we can all take a lesson from that, because people are always going to say that to you. Like, are you still doing that diet thing? Are you still not doing that? Like, first of all, I'm not on a diet. This is a lifestyle. And are you still not on board with this shit? Like, you can be as shitty, smart assy as you want. I'm kind of smart assy. You can choose to, like, but literally, Jennifer McCombs is a little smart assy, but you can, like, choose how you want to frame that. But the reality is don't allow yourself to shift into that energy framework, guys. And this is to all of you, not just Shannon. Like, hold your space in that. Like, you're doing something that's good for yourself. And when somebody tries to break down those barriers or walls or make you feel, I don't want to use the word guilty, but that, what you're doing isn't normal. Well, what is normal?
Can I interject? Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
Being a self-reflective individual and understanding that, I came from somewhere. I had thoughts and we all kind of look at what other people are doing. It's like looking in from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've had a couple of friends say things, or, the one I was traveling with this summer, it's kind of funny because now she's texted me and asked me, what was that you were eating again? Because I think I want to try that. That was kind of good, because she was eating my food, like, the snacks and stuff like that. So, but I just remember, I tried to remember that, I came from somewhere as well. When I joined, I knew that I needed to make changes. I knew that I was looking for a healthier lifestyle. I was looking for something for me. I wasn't looking for anyone else. I'm not out there trying to help the rest of the world. Maybe my kids. I do share with my kids some of my wisdom, because I want them to not have to maybe go through the same things, especially my daughter, as I have had to go through with, hormonal imbalances and all that fun stuff. But I kind of just try to remind myself, for them, is that, they don't know my point of view. And if they're asking, maybe they're looking for a point of view. So if it's somebody that I really care about, I'll be, I'm not really too smart assy about it. I'll just say, I look at it differently. I don't eat a lot of processed foods, and I never did. I just cooked really shitty. Well, I didn't cook shitty. It was really good, but my ingredients were really bad. Butter and bourbon shouldn't be on your menu on a regular basis. Um, so I think that if it's really truly somebody asking me sincerely, how do you do this? Why do you do this? And how long are you going to do it for? And yes, I do say, well, I do this because I want to do it. I see the changes, and I see how positive it is for me in my world and in my life. And yes, I would love to see everybody open their eyes to that. But the reality is, we don't live in a society or a culture anymore where people understand what whole foods means or what raw foods means or what the importance of cooking your own food and eating at home really means to your health, especially if you do it the right way. So I think just keeping in mind that when somebody does ask you that, they're not always being negative towards you or judging you. They don't understand. They really just don't. They don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. And so then I just tell them, well, this is what I do. And, it's for my own personal benefit. It's helped make me feel better. Yes, my blood work comes back really great now, and I feel good about going to the doctor and talking about my health and telling him what I do. So just keeping in mind that when somebody is being like that and they are asking you like, when are you going to eat normal? Because my friend is the one, she was like, so when, how long are you going to do this for? Well, I'm eating my little snap peas and she's eating her chips because that was the crunchy snack, right? And and I was like, well, I've really been eating these my whole life. I grew up on a farm. So, I grew up eating vegetables from the garden and all those things. So for me, it's normal and I know that it's good for me. So now I'm getting long-winded and I'm gonna.
That's good. It's all good information. I love it.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
exactly. It's always going to be a mindset. You guys are sharing really good. And the one thing I want to tie a bow on, Tammy just left. I was saying goodbye to her. She said she had to go. But I meant to bring this up. So, she talked about something in the beginning. So and I wanted to loop back to this because you all are here because you physically want to make some changes with yourself. You physically want to look and feel better about yourself. You're looking, and some of you have hit those results and you're still looking for more development. So there's that physical aspect of it. But one thing that Tammy just brought into the beginning of the conversation is she was talking about her mother. She's in a hospital caring for her mother who did what? Broke her hip. That's the reality, ladies. This is why I tell you you're here. The reality is where do you want to be when you're 60, 70, 80 years old? She also used the word frail. That's the reality of what we're talking about. So the bigger picture, when you guys zoom out, and this is the message that I share, I dive in and I talk about muscle development. I talk about increasing your protein, changing your nutritional habits, incorporating in strength training. And the biggest driver that I give most of you, because the reason why you come here is I need to lose the body fat, and increasing muscle mass, which is a byproduct of aging. As our hormones change, we lose muscle mass. When we lose muscle mass, as you all know, the metabolism slows. The more muscle on your body, the faster. That's why you could eat fucking anything you wanted when you were 20 years old. You had more muscle on you. But the reality is think about what Tammy said in the beginning. She painted the fucking picture for you. She painted a beautiful picture for you, not a beautiful, but the reality picture. I can remember my grandparents, my elderly great aunts, all aging. I'm sure you can think about maybe your parents, maybe it's more your grandparents. As they age, they become frail, broken hips. All of these things are byproducts of you losing muscle mass. And it doesn't have to be that way. So the biggest picture is if you don't want your daughter, your son having to do what Tammy's doing, the best thing that you can do for yourself right now, which is what you're all doing, is continue to take care of yourself, because that strength training that you're doing to build your muscle, to increase your metabolism, to help you burn fat like a fucking badass and have you looking phenomenal, is also the same muscle mass that's going to keep you to be able to get up and off of the couch, that's going to protect your bones, that's going to actually strengthen your bones. Weight bearing activity strengthens your bones like it does your muscles. You will be less likely to fall down and break a hip. You will be less likely to become that vision of that frail. Why do you think as women age, you see cartoons of frail older people?
Mhm.
Guys, that's the biggest thing here. And you have to remember that. So when you lose focus on your why, guys, and you're like, I've already hit my results, I'm badass, maybe I won't weight train anymore. Janet. And I'm just going to skip all that. Because you know what? Like, think about that, guys. Think about why you do this. Super important. You don't, like, Tammy hit the nail on the head. Like, immediately when she said that, I was like, this is why you do it.
Mhm.
Because that's not the vision that you want for yourself. And it doesn't have to be. There's a completely different difference. There's fucking 60, 70-year-old women out there that are jacked as fuck. That's going to be me. Promise you, and I would hope that it's going to be all of you. I'm going to be the one that's 80 years old with fucking guns hanging out.
Right?
I promise you I will be. Mark my words. I will be. That will be me. So but the reality is it is, guys, it's drinking from the fountain of youth. It really is. Like there's also that reality to it. Then in the grand scheme of things is you're drinking from the fountain of youth. That's true. When you start to work out and fuel and nurture your body, you build the muscle, you can maintain the bone stature, you don't become frail and thin, and you also start to drink from the fountain of youth. I have people, and I'm going to end it and go to the gym because I have a busy ass day today, as I'm sure you all do, I have people that have known me for years and years and years. And when I started to make changes with myself, I had the naysayers, of course we all do. I had the people that told me to eat a fucking cookie. I had the people that asked me how long I was gonna fucking do this shit. The have a biscuit people, like whatever. But I also would have the people that would come out of nowhere. A lot of times it was on social media, and they'd be like, holy fuck, are you aging in reverse? How the fuck do you do that? You keep getting younger and younger looking. I kid you not. It Since the age 48, I'm not lying to you. Since age 48, when I started all of this, I can honestly, truthfully say I'm 56 right now. Nobody guesses me. What do you think my average guess is of my age? And when I tell people, type it in the comments, you can tell me. What is the average? What would you guys all know how old I am. I rarely get guessed at 40. Rarely.
Dang.
Rarely. When people
That's
see
awesome.
me face to face, I rarely. The highest every once in a while, and that's generally somebody that may have an inkling of like where I should be, but face to face, when I tell people how old I am, they're like, fuck, literally their reaction. You're kidding me. And this is men and female alike. And I will, if I say to somebody, guess my age, and it's a dude and they don't want to do that, they're like hesitant. They're like, I'm going to guess you too old. Don't get mad at me. You're 40. And I'm like, thank you. They're shocked. You're drinking from the fountain of youth, guys. So remember that. And there's people, and I say this because there's people that have flat out told me, you looked older before.
Mm.
When I was in corporate, you looked older before.
Mhm.
You look younger now than you did then. Then I was thinking about this because somebody was, one of my old bosses is texting me right now. And he just was making a comment. He's like, I don't know how you do it. I keep looking older, you keep looking younger. And I'm like, dude, let me tell you how I do it.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, that's my words of wisdom. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts that set you on your way?
I just want to say thanks,
We can
everybody,
change
for the
societal
support.
norms.
Wait.
Yes, so excited to have you here.
I look forward to these calls. So thank you so much. It gives me a little bit of a break from my crazy work week to see other people. So thank you for the calls. Thanks for everybody being super positive and supportive, and welcome, Shannon.
Thank you.
Awesome. Y'all have a great day. I'm off to the gym. Peace.
Bye.
Bye, guys. I cannot end this call ever.